You've persistently knocked at the door, attempting to force it open with discipline, effort, prayer, and thorough planning. Despite your many attempts, it remains shut, leaving you to ponder whether you were ever meant to step through. I am here to tell you unequivocally, yes, you were destined to walk through that door, but not as the person you are today. The door itself was never the obstacle, the version of you that stands before it is. Until you undergo a profound transformation, altering your thoughts, fears, and beliefs, you will find yourself stuck in the same cycle, repeating the same season of disappointment. Now, more than ever is not the time to surrender. This is the moment to awaken. The change you seek lies not in chance or luck. It resides within your very identity. Everything in your life will shift the instant you decide to embrace this truth. So don't just hear these words, embrace them, submit to their meaning, and act as if your life depends on it, because it truly does. Let's begin with the first essential principle, the hidden law. You are in the process of being positioned for power. If things aren't working out, if every effort seems to fail, and if your resolve is crumbling, understand this. You are not cursed. You are being called. This call is not from another person, but from an inherent law of the universe. You're not meant to give up. You're meant to transform. You are being summoned to relinquish the layers of your former self and to rise into the individual worthy of blessings previously thought unattainable. However, I must caution you. You might hear these words and yet remain unchanged. That is the tragedy faced by many. People encounter truths daily, but few truly listen as if their very lives depend on understanding them. Even fewer act decisively, guided by faith and with an unwavering desire to change. This message is not a gentle reminder to soothe your feelings or excuse your delays and defeats. It is a summons. If you receive it, not with indifference, but with fervent conviction, everything in your world will shift. Conversely, if you dismiss it, you risk remaining mired in darkness for yet another year, another decade, or even a lifetime. The reason nothing seems to be working is not due to misfortune or abandonment from the divine. It stems from the reality that you are undergoing a process of repositioning. This repositioning is rarely gentle. It doesn't seek your permission. Rather, it dismantles, removes, and reconstructs your core being. Understand this well. Failure is not the end. It is a form of divine redirection. It signals that the structure you attempted to build was insufficient to sustain the desires you've been requesting. It's the universe's way of saying this is not your path. There is a greater journey ahead, but first you must become a greater version of yourself. You've sought greatness, but greatness comes with structural demands. The first step in constructing the fortitude to bear the blessings you desire is indeed the dismantling of the version of you that believed he was ready. You are not being punished, you are being prepared for the ability to carry what few others ever possess. When you find yourself in a place where nothing works, it is a signal that your ego is being dismantled. Your identity, your attachments, and your misplaced sense of confidence are all being challenged so that a deeper, more authentic power can emerge within you. This is the necessary death of your old self, a process that can be painful but essential for the man destined to walk in dominion. Reflect on the story of Thomas Edison. Did he encounter failure because he was incompetent? No, he experienced countless setbacks on his journey toward creating the electric light, and every defeat was a systemic refinement of his purpose. Each failure purified his desire while stripping away distractions until only unwavering certainty remained. Your journey mirrors his. You are not experiencing a season of collapse, but rather one of refinement. You are being emptied, not to be left hollow, but to make space for clarity, for genuine power, and for a grand vision that aligns with your true calling. Put aside the misconception that your trials are random or indicative of a cruel universe. Everything happening in your life is precise, intentional, and ultimately leading you toward a greater purpose. You are where you are not by coincidence. You are being repositioned for power. The tools of this repositioning being loss, silence, confusion, delay, and the fires of transformation. Understanding the test is less important than passing through it. Each examination begins with the dismantling of your false identities. The individual who faces business failure, the one who experiences rejection, is the one who is being qualified to rebuild with the wisdom of spiritual intelligence. Infinite wisdom never permits a man to succeed in a way that could corrupt him. If success were to occur prematurely, it would inflate your ego rather than deepen your character. It would stifle your growth instead of moving you toward purpose. Therefore, it is held back not to harm you, but to prepare you for what lies ahead. You are awakening to the realization that your power does not reside in material possessions, accolades, or titles. Instead, true power lies within the unseen as pecs of your character, those foundational elements built on laws, decisions, intentions, and purpose. That is where true dominion is cultivated. You are not disintegrating. You are being repositioned for dominion. Repeat these words aloud with conviction. I am not falling apart. I am being repositioned for dominion. Let this truth govern your mind from this day forward. Allow it to be your lens as you navigate through pain, setbacks, and delays. The shift comes when you stop questioning why these trials are happening to you and instead ask what internal transformation they are facilitating. This shift empowers you to become untouchable, for what truly breaks a person is not failure itself, but the misunderstanding of failure. A no from life isn't a final judgment. It's a redirection, a divine correction designed to safeguard your soul and align your steps. But to recognize this truth requires the willingness to listen intently. Reflect upon the lives of successful individuals I have studied. Carnegie, Ford, Edison, Rockefeller, each one found themselves on their knees before they ascended. Each encountered unbearable challenges. No one is handed power. Each becomes power through perseverance and transformation. Therefore, you must redefine your relationship with adversity. View difficulties not as rejections, but as vital preparations. Stop assigning blame to the universe, your past, or circumstances for your current state. Instead, take dominion over your internal landscape. Until you do, the blessings you eye will remain concealed. Know this, God places blessings where only persistence and faith can unearth them. They are hidden because the one who might give up has yet to earn them. They are concealed because the one who complains will not possess the resilience to multiply them upon arrival. So listen closely, not just with your ears, but with your will. This moment where everything feels stagnant is your greatest opportunity for growth. It is this very phase that awakens your soul, urging it to search for transformation. This message arrives now because you are ready, not for comfort, but for clarity, not for applause, but for action, not for a quick fix, but for unwavering truth. The straightforward truth is this: you are being repositioned for power. Let's continue this journey. Let's venture deeper and confront the next vital principle with obedience. For now that you understand that blessings are not denied, merely delayed, you can walk through the fires of transformation with joy. You are not disintegrating, you are rising. Sean, Part 2, the stripping. When life begins to strip away everything that should not remain, it is crucial to realize that God does not elevate what is still tethered to mediocrity. Yet most men, sensing instability, plead desperately for stability. They fail to grasp that what they perceive as a collapse is simply the removal of everything unsuited to the powerful future they are meant to embrace. The blessings you have yearned for carry weight that cannot be borne by someone clinging to false identities, comfort, and relationships misaligned with their calling. Before you can rise to your true potential, life may strip you bare, quickly, decisively, and thoroughly. All things that do not possess a place in your future must be purged. Do not lament this loss. Instead, express gratitude for it. That job you lost was limiting your growth. That relationship that ended was misaligned. Ned with your destiny. That opportunity that slipped away was simply too small for your calling. What has been lost is not your purpose, but rather your dependence on what could never sustain it. Consider the example of Abraham Lincoln. His ascent to the presidency was not paved with comforts, but was forged through relentless perseverance, surviving hardships, personal tragedies, professional failures, and public humiliation. Each loss shed non-essential elements until only vision and determination remained. The stripping process may be painful, but it is sacred and often misunderstood. You may ask, why was this taken from me? I would reply, because it was never meant to belong to the person you are evolving into. That which served your former self cannot nourish the new self you are becoming. You prayed for elevation. Now you are called to let go. Greatness and clutter cannot coexist. You cannot construct an empire with hands weighed down by baggage. It is time to empty yourself, to surrender, and to do so without harboring feelings of bitterness, since bitterness only blocks blessings, and resentment chains the spirit to what has passed. You cannot soar while tethered to yesterday's failures. Release the past. Allow the disappointments to purify your spirit. Embrace the stripping process, as it will unveil the essence of who you truly are. When the noise clears and the scaffolding of your old life collapses, you will discover what is real, and what is real is always sufficient to begin anew because it's rooted in your true self. You were never meant to build on an unstable foundation. However, your attachment to comfort kept you anchored in place. Thus God moved, removing and rearranging your reality, not out of malice, but because he heard your cries for greatness. His response was, "Thus I must take away what is not fitting." This is not a moment of rejection, it's one of realignment, a form of pruning. Every fruit-bearing tree must be cut back, not for failure, but for preparation for greater growth. The blade that severs the branch is the same blade that multiplies the fruit. Do you see this? You are not being punished, you are being strategically positioned. You are not cursed, you are being cleansed. What pains you now will benefit you in the future, if and only if you stop resisting the process and begin to release what is meant to go. Allow what must fall to fall. Let what has ended die. Trust that what remains is precisely what you need. Too many people mourn the loss of what was never meant to endure. But the man of faith, the one prepared to take decisive action, moves forward from a firm foundation of conviction rather than comfort. He doesn't beg for what departed. He blesses it and starts anew. Repeat this after me. Everything being removed from me is creating space for the life I have envisioned. I release what no longer belongs to me. I welcome what is coming. Now is not the time to panic. It is a time to prepare. Prepare your mind, your spirit, and your strategy, because the void left by loss has become sacred ground. What you choose to cultivate next must be intentional, rooted not in fear but in vision. This is where many falter. They long for restoration without the necessary change. Instead of asking for the return of what left, consider whether those things were ever truly aligned with your destiny. I assure you, nothing departs your life that was meant to construct your future. What remains must now be repho. In it into power. Examine your attachments, your habits, your thoughts, anything you cling to that life is attempting to strip from you. Are you embracing mediocrity from a place of fear? Are you pursuing comfort while professing a desire for greatness? You cannot maintain both. The time to choose is now, and it must be a bold choice. The individual who builds his future must be willing to let go of his past. Let that realization resonate. Until you are willing to step into a new season, shedding old patterns, you will continually find yourself trapped in a cycle that no longer serves you, repeating the same lessons until they are finally learned. The lesson here is simple. The stripping is not loss, it is leverage. It serves to propel you upward, breaking your dependency on the past, freeing you from the inflation of approval, and preparing you for unshakable strength, wealth defined not merely in monetary terms, but as order and alignment. Only one who has been stripped can receive wealth without being dismantled by it. So if you feel exposed, give thanks. If you feel unmade, express gratitude, because it indicates you are on the path of readiness. Say it again. I am not losing. I am being prepared. I release what is leaving. I trust what is coming. I am ready. This is not a setback. It is the thoughtful rearrangement of everything that no longer fits your life path. Once this process is complete, you will no longer need what was. You will transcend your former self and be prepared to construct something greater than you ever thought possible. Part 3, the delay. When God holds back results, it is to facilitate your identity development. Remember, delay is not denial. It is God's way of asking you, will you maintain your belief even when no evidence is visible? Will you act from faith rather than proof? Most people do not fail due to hardship. They fail to endure the weight of anticipation and expectation. They desire the harvest before the sowing, seeking results without demonstrating readiness. Understand clearly, you do not receive success based on time alone. You receive it according to your readiness, your identity. If the person you are in this moment cannot bear the blessings you seek, infinite intelligence will withhold them, not out of cruelty, but from a place of mercy. The season of delay is not time lost. It is spiritual construction, mental refinement, and the cradle of your future. You are becoming the individual capable of commanding outcomes, the one who doesn't falter when plans take longer to unfold, the one who moves with certainty rather than doubt. I have lived through delays myself. When I was writing Think and Grow Rich, I started with no audience, no guarantees, and no evidence that the words I poured onto the page would resonate. But I was under divine guidance. The delay became my classroom, and silence turned into my safe haven. I remained persistent, and in time, my efforts came to fruition. This will hold true for you as well. Even when nothing appears to be progressing, keep sowing. Even when movement seems absent, maintain your belief. The law is in operation beneath the surface. The blessings in your life won't come at the behest of others' beliefs. They arrive when you trust without requiring external validation, when your faith remains steadfast despite delays. Use positive affirmations as your shield during this time. Recite your definite chief aim morning and night, whether in silence or amidst doubt, during sorrow or when faith flickers dim. You are not speaking to impress the world, you are instructing your subconscious mind. Once your inner self believes, your external reality will shift accordingly. Every delay tests your identity. Will you act like someone who anticipates triumph or like someone wary of failure? Will you proceed with confidence or await permission? You are not merely waiting for the world to validate you. You are hoping for your spirit to acknowledge that it has already been achieved. Think of the farmer who plants seeds but does not dig them up each day to check for growth. He waters, waits, and trusts the process. Many among you, however, disturb your seeds every time delay knocks on the door, thus preventing the roots from taking hold. Do not confuse mere movement with true momentum. God may purposely halt the surface movements in order to enhance your mental momentum. Once this internal momentum reaches its peak, it will swing open doors, not because things had shifted outside, but because you transformed within. In conclusion, seize the moments of delay and misunderstanding not as defeats, but as invitations to grow. Recognize that what you perceive as stumbling blocks are, in fact, stepping stones leading you to greater wisdom, depth, and an identity that can withstand the weight of your aspirations. Continue to embrace your journey with conviction, for you are truly on the path toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to stay updated with more motivational content. Like, share, and comment to support our work and spread the message.